Hi, good afternoon. This is Lunch with Laura. I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm sorry. Yes, I am. It's been a while since we've seen each other, but yes, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Okay, it's good. So good to see you. Here. Okay, sorry about that. I was saying hi to my neighbor. So this is Lunch with Laura. How are you doing? Today's topic is what does it mean when a woman gives a man respect? Now, I know this is controversial. This was controversial for me for a long time, a long, long time, especially when I was in my 20s. For me, it meant, oh, sorry, my signal's getting weak. All right, for me, it really meant that respect, for me, that definition, I gave a big pushback because I felt like, oh my gosh, if I give somebody respect, that really means that he can use me as a doormat. That really means that, he can treat me any way that he wants to. That really means that, he's going to use me and run all over me. And I'm not going to be nothing to him. He's going to walk all over me. Okay, I really feel like, sorry, I feel like a lot of women really feel that way. They feel like if I show a man traditional respect, what does that look like? And does that mean he can just, treat me any old kind of way? And so for me, I think it's really, really important. I think for every woman, I shouldn't say just for me, for any woman, it's really very, very important to really figure out who it is that you want to extend respect to, right? We really have to, sorry, we really have to vet people. We have to, see them out, give them time. Let's see what type of person that they are before we give them that type of power and influence in our lives. Before we extend ourselves, we give our time and our talent and sometimes even a little bit of our money, right? So we just have to be so careful about who we allow in our lives. And so I think that's number one. You have to be careful. And so what does that mean? What does respect mean? I think a lot of times, especially in a dating relationship, it really means um, it really means extending and saying thank you. Men want to feel appreciated, for the things that they do. Even if it's something small, even if it's going to get your car detailed, or if they do it themselves, they detail your car. They want to hear, the quote unquote the applause. So that's important. I think that's a really big thing. Hey, Willow, I think it's a really big thing. When men feel appreciated, they interpret that as respect. And so I think that's a huge part of it. And I know many of us, we do that already. We say, hey, thank you. But there's a special way that I guess that you say it when you're in a relationship. It's not the same as when you say thanks to your dad or your brother. It's a difference, that it's really heartfelt, and in knowing that they are doing something to make your life easier, that they are doing something that you really appreciate. And otherwise, you would feel would take up a lot of your time. Again, it's a quality of life thing. And so, they want to be the hero. So if they're able to make something better for you, then, that sends them into orbit, right? So that's really important. I think that's a huge part of respect. I'm sorry, let me hold the camera a little bit further because my head doesn't look too big. Okay, that's better. The second thing is just to help in some way to reciprocate. In other words, to really help them in some way, whether it's giving them a glass of water, while they may be doing stuff around the house, or when they come back from running errands, fixing dinner, whatever, those types of things that otherwise they have to try to figure it out, right? And so I think that's a huge, huge, huge part of respect. And so, as much as we can as women, help them to feel appreciated and needed. We have to need them. And so that really helps them to feel like the knight in shining armor, and to really feel like there's something that they can do for us. That's a huge part of respect. I think a large other component of that is just when we talk about getting to know somebody, and extending and allowing them to have influence in our lives, allowing them to share time with us, because our time is precious. We have to see what type of person that they are. So what does that look like? That really looks like really looking to see there's a principle that I believe, a biblical principle that says, you know, you'll spend your money where your heart is. And I have to say from personal experience, that's so true. My ex spent his money where his heart was. And it certainly wasn't with me, unfortunately. You know, it was every kind of expensive toy, anything to deal with music, tens of thousands of dollars on music alone. Um, Cars, he just had to have that Land Rover. It meant more than life itself. I mean, trust me, you know, it was, you know, he had a Malcolm X approach to it by any means necessary. It doesn't matter, you know, what other bills got messed up. It didn't matter, you know, what it really cost us. It didn't matter that we really couldn't afford it. But, you know, so really looking to see where a guy spends his money tells you a whole lot about him, a whole lot. So, you know, don't, you know, kind of brush that aside. Really make sure that's something that you look at carefully. And probably the last thing before I go is really understanding what type of relationship that he has with his family. That really, you know, those two things, where's he spending his money and what type of relationship he has with his family, is really so telling as to whether we should allow them into our lives and extend that type of respect. You know, the things that we spend our time and our money, that we could be doing other stuff, right? We could be spending, you know, with our kids or whatever it is, you know, we're choosing to spend with them. So we want to make sure that we're vetting them, that they are worthy of our time and our respect. Because I think, you know, a lot of times we get hurt because, you know, we want to trust so quickly. We want to make sure that, you know, we always want to think the best of people, right? And I'm not saying we always should be very skeptical and very negative, you know, initially towards people, but just cautious. Slowly take a look to see what's going on. Talk to his friends. See what type of friends he has. See what type of relationship he has. If he has kids, see what type of relationship he has with his kids. Look at all those things before we really start to extend and allow people in our lives, allow them to know stuff about us, and really get, you know, our feelings entangled before we really understand what type of person that they are. So that way, that really guards against someone taking advantage of us, extending respect to them, you know, and using us as a doormat, and being really mean-spirited okay, there we go, being really mean-spirited and hateful towards us, and taking advantage of us, whether it's financially or emotionally, you know, or God forbid, you know, this situation where, you know, you could be physically hurt, God forbid. So you know, that's, I think, what it really means to extend respect, making sure that the person, you know, deserves to be in our lives, and making sure that men feel appreciated and wanted. So I hope that you ladies find that helpful. I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm just kind of tired of kind of sitting there, just kind of talking to you. So I wanted to be outside and at least moving a little bit. So I'll see how this turns out later. But I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your lunch and have a great day. Take care.